Hold on, guys. I have to fix something on my computer real quick. Watch. Here we go. One there. One there. Yes, yes. No. Fudge. Sucks. There we go. Should do the trick. Maybe. Yes, okay. Okay. I'll go to general now. I said, you smell cookie. Pop out chat. Let me throw that over there. Put that there, and then go over to this monitor, and then we put it. Listen to Fat Electrician, I guess.
Yes, El Huawei. That time the U.S. military-industrial complex.
I want to see this one.
Yes, that time a single U.S. submarine took on an entire ship by itself. Today we're talking about the USS Parchi and its commander, Lawson Red Ranch, the first submarine.
Okay, I'll put that there.
But first, a word from our sponsor.
Okay.
There's no ad this week. Moving on. Raymond was born in 1909 and graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1931. After graduating from the Naval Academy, he would serve on destroyers.
Hold on. Okay.
After graduating from the Naval Academy, he would serve on destroyers as an engineering officer, a radio officer, and a navigator. Then in 1935, he decides that he wants to try out to be on a submarine. So he goes in, takes his physical, and fails immediately because because his vision isn't good enough because he has an eye injury from when he wrestled in high school. The very second he fails that vision test, he makes a decision. He decides that he's not going to let this stop him from serving on a submarine. In a demonstration of grit and determination, he decides that he is going to take that vision test again tomorrow.
Scar, go to General.
This time, next time he takes this test, he's going to fucking cheat, because if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So as he makes his way out, he instructs a couple of his friends to memorize a different line of the vision test, gets that information from them later, puts the entire thing together, memorizes the entire vision test verbatim, and shows back up the next day ready to take this test.
What's
So he takes
up?
the vision test, gets 100%, no problem whatsoever. At this point, the optometrist, the same optometrist from yesterday, is like, I know what you're doing. So he goes over, changes the board, and he's like, okay, now read me that one. At this point,
Showing me all, I can see all the people that have chatted in the stream like ever. That's cool.
So he covers up his bad eye first, reads the lines the doctor tells him to read.
Alright. Father Scar, I mean Son Scar. My bad. Sonny boy. What are you in? No, no.
You must have just like had a bad day yesterday or something. And he's like, yeah, that was.
That is very bad machine guns. 50 cals can sink me.
Gets trained in submarine warfare, does great, ends up getting assigned to his first submarine.
My armor is as thick as your mom, okay?
Rotated over to Pearl Harbor, where he is the sound and communications officer, working directly under the commander of the entire Pacific submarine.
I don't know.
And that is where he is on December 7th, 1941, when Pearl Harbor is attacked, aka
I mean, kinda, but at the same time.
fucking with America's boats.
I mean, I don't know how you say it. I'm sorry. Okay, fine. I won't do that again. I won't do that again. Oh,
So obviously, all of America is extremely pissed off, but Ramage is exceptionally pissed because he was actually there at Pearl Harbor when it happened. And here's the catch with that. Right after Pearl Harbor, over half the American surface fleet was temporarily out of commission due to all the damage, meaning that the only answer that America had at this point in time was the submarine fleet. To which Ramage is like, put me on a sub, I want to go get some revenge. So that's exactly what happens. He gets assigned to the USS Grenadier as a navigation officer. They go out and sink 2 Japanese ships right off the bat, and Ramage is awarded a Silver Star for his contribution. So right off the bat, Ramage is obviously doing pretty good. At this point, they decide they're going to give him his own submarine. He becomes the commander of the USS Trout. Okay, now here's the thing with being a commander of a submarine during World War II. You were only allowed to go out with the same submarine and the same crew as its commander for a total of 4 war patrols, because the leadership believed that after 4 war patrols, a commander would either become too reckless or too conservative, and they had to rotate him out. So Ramage goes through his first 3 war patrols, and they are just not going the way that he had hoped. It's not the heroic revenge that he was really looking for. After
you asked for it.
He only manages to sink 3 Japanese ships. And just to be clear, that's not
fine. I'll get rid of the missile. It won't hit you.
And shoots an abundance of torpedoes at all of them.
I unlocked it. Chill.
The American Mark 14 torpedo.
Now this one I'm not unlocking.
It hits, but then doesn't blow up. It becomes very clear to Red Ramage that he, his crew, and the USS Trout are not the
Fuck! Dude, that's so annoying. It's like chaff, and I hate it. But I unlocked the proxy rounds. Come here! Radar's logged.
Don't get me wrong, it all works out in the end because
oh no, the turn's not swung around yet. You're too low. In the eyes of an angel.
But Red Ramage is still absolutely furious that he didn't get that glory because he should have sank the Hiroshima right then and there. So fast forward.
Wait, he's talking about the Hiroshima.
On their 3rd war patrol, they go to sink a Japanese cargo ship. They fired 2 torpedoes at it.
Wait, they talked about the Hiroshima.
To take out the cargo ship. So that he, his crew, and the USS Trout are not the problem here. It is the American submarine and the same crew as its commander for a total of 4 war patrols, because the leadership believed that after 4 war patrols, a commander would either become too reckless or too conservative, and they had to rotate him out. So Ramage goes through his first 3 war patrols, and they are just not going the way that he had hoped. It's not the heroic revenge that he was really looking for. After 3 war patrols, he only manages to sink
I smell you.
ships. And just to be clear, that's not for
I smell you.
finds a ton of Japanese ships and shoots an abundance of torpedoes at all of them, but every single time that he fires an American Mark IV,
I'm just gonna keep firing until you run out of rockets.
or it hits, but then doesn't blow up. It becomes very clear to Red Rampage that he, his crew, and
From the eyes of an angel.
torpedo. They actually find the Japanese battleship, the Kirishima, and fire 5 torpedoes at it, and all 5 of them veer off course, miss, or are duds. Don't get me wrong, it all works out in the end because the greatest battleship commander of all time, Admiral Willis Ching Lee, ends up sinking the Kirishima with the USS Washington in the greatest battleship versus battleship conflict the world has ever seen. But Red Ramage is still absolutely furious that he didn't get that.
Oh, the Kirishima died.
He should have sank the Kirishima right then and there. So fast forward, Ramage and the USS Trout are on their 3rd war patrol.
I smell you.
They fired 2 torpedoes at it, which is absolutely
What are you in?
a cargo ship. Surprise, surprise, one of them is a complete dud. The other one, like, kind of half-ass explodes, but not really damaging the
What are you in?
And Ramage is just absolutely furious with the
No, I just want to know. If you don't tell me, I'm gonna fire.
He's only sank 2 ships so far. He is absolutely sinking this cargo ship. He doesn't care what it takes. He orders his everybody runs out on the bridge and starts opening fire
Fine.
on this ship with 50 caliber machine guns, anti-aircraft.
It's off course. I'm in a golf course.
On the submarine. This is not how you're supposed to conduct submarine warfare, but also, the torpedoes are supposed to fucking explode, so whatever. So they roll up on this cargo ship.
You want to rub it in? You want me to shoot another one?
Get within like 500 yards of it, and then shoot 2 more torpedoes at it, blowing it up and sinking it immediately.
Merry Christmas.
Basically the naval equivalent of
Okay, fine.
Then he
Oh.
Harbor in Houston. Look, these torpedoes are garbage. They do not work.
Ooh, rock. I like rock.
His chain of command tells him to his face, the torpedoes
I see.
work. You just don't know how to aim. This is your
I want to come see the rocks.
To which point Ramage basically just throws his arms up in the air because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
nothing he can do other than just do his job.
You said to rub it in, so I wanted to rub mine in too.
So that's what he does. He goes out on his 4th war patrol. On his 4th war patrol, he shoots 15 torpedoes. All 15 of them are misses and duds. And the worst part is, remember I said earlier, you only get 4 war patrols as a commander before you're labeled as too conservative or too reckless. Well, because on his 4th war patrol, Ramage didn't manage to sink any Japanese ships, he is labeled as too conservative, despite the fact that he shot almost every torpedo he had, and they were all just duds. I mean, Ramage literally just did a drive-by execution with a submarine on his last war patrol, yet somehow they're going to call him too conservative, which serves to infuriate him even more because he takes it like the basic volume account.
No, I'm looking at it. I'm looking for this rock.
Back over to Pearl Harbor, then they send him all the way over to Maine.
That's not a rock. That's a plane. That's a lot bigger plane.
The Vallejo class USS Archie. So that's exactly what he does. Goes over to Maine and watches some.
Fuck, I have a rock too.
Goes through a couple of sea trials, passes, gets it commissioned, and now
Well, then do something.
all the way from Maine back over to Pearl Harbor before he can get back into this fight. And by the time he gets
He
back,
folded like a damn ship.
patrol with the USS Archie. Okay,
You got this. You got this.
and a ton has changed between early 1940s
I got your help.
after Pearl Harbor when Ramage was first commanding submarines, and now mid-1944.
Yeah, I got
The
you.
good news, they fixed the fucking torpedoes, and those actually work now.
I gotcha.
Everybody else
Oh, you fell faster. Oh my gosh.
the naval committees tried to fight it off.
You were going faster.
And eventually, due to overwhelming evidence, they were forced to accept the fact
Where is
that
this
it actually
rock?
sucked, and this is now a
Oh, I've got your rock on sonar.
historically accepted fact.
I found it.
Right all along about the whole torpedo thing. Now, the bad news.
It's like a barrel.
After the torpedoes started being way more effective, the Japanese
Think, I don't know. I've got it. I've got 2 pings. One of them's you.
U-boats, they started
Oh shit.
convoys
Hold on. Stop the boat. Stop the boat.
to fight off the submarines, and now Japan is doing that. So
From the eyes of an angel. They get low.
to hunt down these convoys to get
It's too late to get low.
necessarily a bad thing, but the majority of the commanders are not happy about it
Bastard.
because they like the idea of going out there alone, being in complete control of the situation, and for everything, everyone around them. And now they have 2 other
Damn it!
submarines that they have to worry about, and each
Another one.
has its own commander over the entire operation.
Another one. That wasn't supposed to happen.
And the Wolfpack commander is on somebody
Proxy.
else's submarine, so one of the 3 subs in the Wolfpack
Buddy, you're too low.
power dynamic where
Why is it like this? I'm gonna shoot a torpedo at you. You skipped them across the water? I watched them skip across the water. You dropped them short. You can do that? Just for that, you're fucked. Radar on. In time. Damn it. No, another one. Why is the turret never work? I almost just tail whipped your ass. I'm gonna fiddle your McDiddle, alright? Get your ass over here. Ping! It's like Top Gun Maverick! Dude, it's like Top Gun Maverick, bro! The missile's chasing you through the canyon.
Ships, we should adapt. Ramage is like, absolutely, I've been making to get into a firefight for a while now. Let's go, and he takes off full steam ahead, straight towards that convoy. So originally, the USS Parchi was like 30 miles away. They've been traveling full speed for hours, like 3 hours now. They still haven't seen a single thing. Ramage wants to radio back over to the USS Steelhead. He's supposed to
I have a question.
convoy and be like, hey, did they change course?
Like, in German U-boats, how did, like, their engines even work? If they need oxygen, like, to work, they don't have oxygen? I mean, they do. But where does the exhaust go without, like, showing their location? Yeah. What the hell? Oh my god! Oh, 50 cals, 50 cals, 50 cals, ah, 50 cals. Ah. I ran over you. From the eyes of an angel.
USS Parchi finally catches up now, just so we're all on the same page. These are diesel-powered submarines. They travel on the surface at night, they submerge during the day. While they're on the surface, they are significantly faster and way more maneuverable. Since it's at nighttime, they are traveling on the surface. So the USS Parchi radios over to the USS Steelhead. They're like, hey, we're here. We can't really see anything. There's like no moonlight out on this particular night. It's just pitch black absolutely everywhere. To which the USS Steelhead is like, okay, cool. You're close.
No pingy wingies.
So the USS Steelhead goes to engage the convoy. Now these Vallejo-class submarines have 10 torpedo tubes, 6 in the front, 4 in the back. USS Steelhead approaches, fires into 6 front torpedo tubes, does a U-turn, fires the remaining 4 out the back as it's driving away, and then goes, submerges, and leaves. It is a textbook submarine attack. You blow your load, and then you run, okay? You ski and retreat, you ejaculate, and you evacuate.
Until I just immediately ping you as you spawn. You know, alright, there it is. There he is. Oh, I can't. But you're P-51, but you have rockets. But what if I veer off and then come back? Okay. Oh, I even veered it off. Is that a B-17? What the fuck? Oh shoot! No witnesses. It's a civilian airliner. Shit! Get your ass over here! Come here! I don't see any parachutes.
So he goes into an evasive maneuver that he calls the reverse spinner. Basically a 270-degree turn, making it appear to the destroyers as though he's running away, but he turns so tight and it's so dark out there that they lose track of him, and he actually goes right past them towards the cargo ships. Now, Ramage doesn't know this yet, but as they're performing this super tight turn, evading the destroyers, the
I found you.
convoy changes their course and goes.
Says you're right there.
So, when he comes out of this
oh, I was right.
He is actually in the middle of this cargo ship convoy formation. He is now completely.
Yeah, no, I can't get shot down like this.
Nobody knows he's there, and he is literally so close to these cargo ships that he can't fire on them.
Another one.
Because they are within like 200 yards, and that's not enough time for the torpedoes to even arm. So now This is just an unforeseen turn of events. He's so close that he can't actually hurt those ships.
Dang it!
He's actually kind of being
You shot it down 2 times?
as well, because now the destroyers are going to be able to penetrate through that formation and come get him. So it's a super awkward, silent moment. Nobody
Turrets, swivel. Swivel, turrets, swivel!
I'm going to go forward. I'm going to do a U-turn.
I got it.
Fire on one of the ships. So that's exactly what they do. They maneuver deeper into the formation. They get into the distance of one of the ships. They do a
Shit.
fire 2 torpedoes.
Ow! How do you skip 1,000-pound babies? What? When did they add this?
One of the men on the bridge with Ramage points out, oh shit, there's 2 aircraft carriers over there.
Where the fuck are you? Where's the radar? I haven't turned the radar on. I have to find you now. Oh, you're right there. Oh, you're right there. You're right there. It was a prank, guys. It was a prank. There's no safety. My name's fucking Tom Cruise.
Which is like the #1 priority ship to take out.
I'm still locked. Damn it. Another one.
Further into this convoy formation, and as he gets closer to these aircraft carriers,
I have to go over the cargo ships.
They're not actually aircraft carriers, they're oil tankers, but that is still a major objective to take out. At this point, Frank Alcorn, the torpedo officer,
Fucking Tom Cruise.
hey, I've been keeping track of that first ship.
Oh, by an itty bitty bit.
On the stern side,
Maneuver kill. I'll take it.
do you want to do it? Ramage is like, absolutely, take the shot. They fire a single torpedo and score their first hit of the night. Then he turns his attention back to the tanker. They fire the 4 remaining torpedoes from the front at this tanker. All 4 hit and sink the tanker immediately. At this point, all hell breaks loose as the Japanese realize that there is a submarine inside of their formation. As the cargo ships begin veering off, trying to make room for the destroyers and the destroyer escorts.
Oh, I didn't even realize you're on my radar.
Be able to take out the USS Archie. And you have to remember, Ramage only has 3 torpedoes.
Says you're right there, MIAD. Multi-role aircraft. 6 kilometers.
They get it lined up and fire their 3 remaining
Swivel,
torpedoes. They have 1
swivel,
miss and 2 hits, bringing that flagship
swivel.
to a limp, almost a complete stop, critically damaging it. And that's it.
Another
That's
one.
it, right? I mean, the torpedo tubes are empty. The only thing left to do is submerge and
No,
make a
you
quick
won't.
getaway. But apparently not today. As the USS Archie comes under heavy machine gun fire from the escorts and the destroyers trying to defend the convoy,
I win!
decides that he's going to do some gangster shit. He orders everybody off the bridge, including his boss, Blue Parts. Just complete dad energy of go wait in the car, I'll handle this. As everybody on the bridge makes their way back down into the submarine, Ramage points out the quartermaster, you're staying with me. I need somebody to be my witness. Basically just stand in the corner and yell World Star while I do this. It is now just Commander Ramage and this quartermaster on the bridge taking machine gun fire as Ramage orders his crew to refill the torpedo tubes, which I cannot stress to you enough is absolutely unprecedented. Literally no one has ever tried this in combat in U.S. Navy.
Oh, I see him.
And a lot of you are probably like, well, what's the big deal with reloading a torpedo tube in the middle of combat? I mean, people reload guns in the middle of combat all the time. Yeah, they reload guns. This is not the same thing, okay? These torpedoes are 20 feet long and weigh 3,000 fucking pounds, okay? This is like 10 grown men about to give themselves hernias while they're using winches and hoists and all kinds of machinery and shit to load these gigantic explosives.
If you get within 25 meters of it, it'll explode and kill you.
You want to be doing on the surface of the ocean, period, getting knocked around by the waves. But you especially don't want to be doing it in the middle of combat while you're getting shot at on the surface. And now the crew is also trying to reload these enormous torpedoes while they're performing evasive maneuvers. But somehow they managed to get 2 torpedoes up in a matter of like 4 minutes, which I cannot stress to you enough is absolutely incredible. Ramage then immediately lines up in front of the USS Archie with the first ship he sees, fires both torpedoes, 2 hits,
Tell me what you're in,
sends it to the bottom of the ocean.
and I'll veer off.
Does a tight U-turn and doubles back towards the
Tell me what plane you're in.
basically dead in the water, waiting for his men to reload.
Tell me what plane you're in.
And closer, the torpedoes.
It's too late.
And that's when
Oh, no, it's not.
he puts the stuff right up the ass end of the Aurora balloon, basically hiding behind it from all the other gunfire because these ships don't want to fire on their own flagship. You can literally reach out from the USS Archie and touch this ship is how close they were. He got it so close that the guns on the Aurora couldn't actually shoot at it, and he's just sitting there waiting, hiding behind their own flagship. Then a couple minutes later, he gets word that there are 3 torpedoes up on the stern side. He peels off in a hard right, accelerates away, lines up the ass end of the sub up with the flagship, fires 3 torpedoes,
shit.
sending it to the bottom of the ocean. In all the commotion of the darkness tonight, the Japanese...
Oh, fuck. No. Yes. Nope, they hit the water too hard.
Trying to figure out the next most important target that they can take out while his crew is down below reloading more torpedoes. Ramage is so in his own headspace, and he's the only man on the bridge besides a quartermaster that he doesn't manage to notice that there is a gunship headed straight towards him, attempting to ram him and cut the USS Parchi in half. The quartermaster, the only other man on the bridge that can see this coming, tries to get Red's attention, but he can't. So he yells down into the sub that they're about to be rammed. And at this point, the helmsman, Chet Stinton, takes matters into his own hands, and he orders full speed ahead. He doesn't know what direction he needs to go.
Off track, dude. I've got you locked, but I don't know where you are. Oh, you're right there.
Moments later, Ramage sees a gunship bearing down on them. Oh shit, and he orders full speed ahead, but his crew's already done it. And now it's just a matter of waiting to see if they're going to make it as the gunship gets closer and closer as the USS
You should look behind you.
desperately tries to get out of its way. As the collision course of the gunship passes the midline of the USS Parchi, Commander Ramage orders a hard right, kicking the ass
No, it
of the
will.
sub.
It's actually easier for the missile to hit. It just hit the water.
Drive right past each other, headed opposite directions. And
I'll
as they
see.
pass one another, Commander Red Ramage looks over at the control tower of the gunship and
See?
takes his cap in a complete gangster move as he makes his way towards his next target. Commander Ramage regains his bearings, and he is now out of the frying pan and into the fire because he is boxed in by a ship on either side, and there is an enormous troop transport headed right at him.
I've lost the thing. Where'd you go? Oh, you're right there.
Parchi is not going to win. So he does the only thing he can do. He slows the ship down, trying to buy more time before this collision. As his men frantically try to reload the torpedo tubes at the front of the USS Parchi. They get 2 torpedoes up moments later. He fires them immediately, which is absolutely not ideal to be firing torpedoes at the front of a ship. They can glance off the side. It's a smaller target to hit. It's just ill-advised altogether, but it's the only option that they have. And as fate would have it, both torpedoes would hit, bringing this enormous troop carrier to a screeching halt, dead in its tracks. This gives Ramage just enough room to shoot the gap, breaking out of the Japanese convoy formation. And as they cross the midline of this troop carrier, they make another hard left, lining up the ass end of the sub up, as the crew gets one last torpedo up and ready to fire at this troop transport. And as the USS Parchi makes its getaway, puts distance between itself and the Japanese convoy, it fires that last torpedo, sinking that Japanese troop carrier, making 5,000 troops on board, where over half of those men would be lost at sea. At this point, the USS Parchi is absolutely going to make a clean getaway, and Ramage knows that as he looks back and watches the escorts and destroyers try to chase him down before he gets ready to go back below deck so they can submerge. One of the destroyers, using its signal light, signals to Ramage, "Who are you? What's your name?"
Maybe.
I presume the quartermaster is
It'll
like,
kill you, though.
They want to know your name, and Ramage is like, because their officers are going to have a lot of paperwork to do. As they go back below deck, the USS Parchi submerges. They make the
No, you made too sharp of a turn.
34 minutes of combat where the USS Parchi fired a record-breaking 19 torpedoes and sustained virtually 0 damage in return. So Red Ramage, the crew, and the USS Parchi all make their way back to Pearl Harbor to prematurely end their second war patrol, which they kind of had to do considering they just shot virtually all of their torpedoes. And by the time they make it back to Pearl Harbor, the entire Navy has heard this story, and they're starting to call it Ramage's Rampage. And they are actually greeted at the dock by the Rear Admiral in command of the entire Pacific Submarine Force, Rear Admiral Charles Lockwood. And he credits the USS Parchi with sinking 5 enemy ships for a total of 34,000 tons. Now, to be perfectly intellectually honest, that is what they were originally credited with sinking. Later on, a committee that was comprised 100% of people that weren't fucking there got together and they decided that they didn't think that he actually sunk that many ships. Now, bear in mind, this is the same type of committee that also said that the Mark 14 torpedo was perfectly fine and everybody else just had bad aim. So this committee, in its infinite wisdom, gets together and they decide that Commander Ramage, the USS Parchi, and its crew only managed to sink 2 enemy ships during their entire 34-minute battle where they shot 19 torpedoes at like point-blank range. But whatever, that's what's on some of the official records, but everybody knew the real truth. And for that reason, Commander Lawson P. Red Ramage was awarded the Medal of Honor and became the first submarine commander to do so and survive. And Ramage 100% credited his survival to his crew, and he felt that his Medal of Honor was just as much theirs as it was his. And for that reason, he made a certificate and gave it out to every single man in his crew, and it read as follows, quote, "The captain wishes to emphasize the fact that the Medal of Honor was accepted from the President of the United States as the nation's tribute to a fighting ship and her courageous crew. He feels every officer and man whose loyal cooperation and able assistance contributed to the success of the USS Parchi has an equal share in this award, which he holds in trust for you with pride and respect. Sincerely, LP Ramage." In conclusion, this has been the story of Ramage's rampage, an awe-inspiring tale of both leadership and teamwork, as well as a cautionary tale of the lengths that a single American will go to whenever somebody fucks with America's boats. Stop touching the boats. I can give you endless amounts of examples, and somebody's still gonna do it. Okay, just don't.
In fact, did not take one rocket.
Best way to support the channel is go by some merch over at FatElectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Okay, actual flares do not work against them. It's rockets that work because they act as chaff. And a flare at the same time. Rockets are just good. Why don't we just like swap chaff and flares over rockets? Let's shoot rockets at her ass. Okay.
Browse our whites.
Ah, yes, that time during the Vietnam War where the United States Air Force finally agreed to let a double fighter ace pilot from World War II run the show. He then immediately sought the destruction of over half of North Vietnam's fighter jets, and he did it in 13 minutes.
Wait, what'd you say?
Today we're talking about Operation Bolo, one of the greatest ruses in military history.
You wanted a what?
A word from my sponsor.
When I told you to get a hobby, this isn't what I meant.
You said I could pick up fishing.
Not like this.
Why?
Get out of my hair.
I don't know why she's mad. This is way better than real fishing. Fishing clients let you catch way more fish than you ever could in real life from locations all across the world from the comfort of your own home. Not only that, the game's completely customized.
You're so fucking lucky.
Upgrade all of your equipment, even building your own fishing village. They also have daily and weekly events.
Come on! Oh my gosh, these are so inaccurate. They're like the BV-238s, bro. They cross, and it's so annoying.
As well as a link and a gift code down below. When you use my gift code Fat Fish, you're going to get $20 worth of free equipment and power-ups, as well as a one-of-a-kind avatar. Now I'm going to get back to fishing.
He's never gonna get out of this house. We're never gonna have a minute by ourselves. Unless he leaves that room.
Finally, inside my own house.
I knew. But it's winter out.
Alright, so Operation Bolo takes place within another mission known as Operation Rolling Thunder, and Operation Rolling Thunder spans from March of 1965 to November of 1968. It is essentially the air war over North Vietnam. So, super brief, oversimplified version of what's going on. The American forces are in South Vietnam, and they are fighting the VC, or the Viet Cong, which is a guerrilla fighting force. And that guerrilla fighting force is receiving supplies from North Vietnamese via the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So, America needs to try to shut down those supply lines.
Another one.
The enemy doesn't have supplies to fight, the enemy can't fight. Real base level War 101 Sun Tzu type stuff, right? Okay, well, America pretty much has two options. They can A, invade North Vietnam with ground forces, or they can B, just attempt to bomb the holy fuck out of them, and America's going with the option.
I actually need to get the proxy rounds on these things.
It's just a humongous 3-year-long air bombing campaign where America is going to try to blow up so much North Vietnamese infrastructure that they can't continue to support the Viet Cong, which honestly is a really good plan. What's the problem?
I wanted to see if I could get you before you could.
Send the planes in, bomb the roads, bomb the railroad tracks, and make it so they can't give the enemy a bunch of supplies. It's good. It should work. And then the politicians.
I don't know where you are.
And let's face it, if anybody could mess up something so simple, it's going to be a politician because, well, honestly, they could probably fuck up boiling water. So how on earth did they mess it up? Well, they gave the American military a bunch of rules of engagement.
Shit, you're like right there.
They gave the American military military a bunch of rules that only they have to follow and the enemy doesn't, essentially tying the U.S. military's hands behind its back and then sending them into battle anyways. And one of these rules of engagement, or one of these protocols that they had to abide by, was that every
another
that
one
went into North Vietnam to bomb them had to travel through a particular air corridor, and that is the only route they were allowed to take into North Vietnam. Meaning
if I hit you I get to go grind. Damn it.
Every single plane
Another one.
follows a particular path, and they then proceeded to take all of their surface
No,
air missiles,
I want the proxy rounds for this thing. What?
Capabilities in the entire country and put it in
Shit.
this one particular spot, and then the U.S. government decided
Try the inaccurate naval guns.
anyways the entire time. Now this point, probably thinking, oh my god.
Gosh, hit something! Haha, you're my smokestack.
Is they have inadvertently gotten the North Vietnamese to gather all of
Achoo!
one location, and now we can just bomb those.
Okay, I need you to help me. I need proxy rounds. Ooh.
So now the U.S. military is like, yo, politicians.
I need proxy
Right
rounds.
there, just waiting for me. To which the politicians are like, absolutely not. In
Please.
fact, we're going to make it a rule that you're not allowed to
Fuck
bomb
you.
or attack any anti-aircraft sites.
Bitch.
Anything, you have to leave it completely unscathed. And our logic behind that
I just need to get
sites, there could potentially be a Chinese or a Soviet
enough.
advisor that's helping out the North Vietnamese, and if we hurt one of them, it would upset the Soviets or the Chinese, and then that would be bad diplomatically, even though they're blatantly there to help run a proxy war against us.
We're gonna do 5-3 naval. You're gonna love this. No, we're doing 6-0 naval.
Because fuck you, that's why. This is bullshit. So that's exactly what happens. Every single time they fly a mission, every Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps plane has to fly through the same air corridor through a gauntlet of anti-aircraft capability on their way to deliver their payload. And then if that wasn't bad enough, the North Vietnamese got their hands on somewhere between 12 and 16 MiG-21s. And if you don't know, at this point in time, the MiG-21 is the new cutting-edge Soviet fighter jet. It is incredibly fast, it has a very high flight ceiling, and it is very, very nimble. And using these MiG-21s, they very quickly develop a strategy that amounts to basically guerrilla warfare in the sky, utilizing a hit-and-run tactic. So their strategy is that they are going to go specifically after the F-105 Thunder Chief, aka the Thud. It is the #1 plane that America is using in Operation Rolling Thunder in all of their bombing runs, and when it is weighed down with a bunch of bombs, it is basically a sitting duck for a MiG-21. So what ends up happening is every time a bunch of thuds get sent out on a bombing run, they have to fly through that corridor of anti-aircraft capabilities, and the arrays and everything else tells the enemy that it's a bunch of F-105s going on a bombing run, so they scramble the MiG-21s, they go up there, they intercept these F-105s, at which point one of two things can happen. The F-105s can continue on their bombing run and most likely get shot down by the MiG-21s, or they can drop their payload just over the jungle randomly in the middle of nowhere, not on target, and then make an escape and live. And bear in mind, the North Vietnamese only have a couple of these fighter jets, and they're fighting a war of attrition against a much larger industrial force like America, so they are more than happy to send a plane up there, burn a little bit of fuel, get the Americans to drop tens or hundreds or millions of dollars worth of bombs on the middle of nothing, waste all their money, waste all their time, and then take their planes and land. They don't need to go out there and waste all their missiles and risk their planes. They're just going to get the Americans to waste all of their bombs on nothing. And I know what you're thinking. That seems like a pretty easy problem. What if we just bombed the MiGs while they were on the ground? Or what if we bombed the airfields that they were coming from? That way they couldn't even take off. Well, luckily we have politicians to step in and tell us once again, you're not allowed to bomb those either because there could potentially be an advisor from China or the USSR there, so leave those alone too. You're only allowed to take out enemy planes when they're in the air. To which the US military is like, okay, I guess we'll do literally the only thing we can do. We'll just send up our fighter jet, the F-4 Phantom II, and try to go toe-to-toe with the MiGs. Okay, so the stage is set. We have one of the sexiest airplanes of all time, the American F-4 Phantom II, going toe-to-toe with the Soviet MiG-21. Okay, here's what I need you to understand about this matchup. This is pretty much the golden era of military planes, okay, in my opinion. It's right before stealth technology came out and planes started to get a little bit slower because they could be sneaky. Now, no. Planes built during this period were just straight up, let's be fast as fuck and carry a ton of firepower. It's the hot rod era of military planes. And both of these planes were built on that doctrine. The F-4 Phantom tops out at like 1,400 miles an hour. The MiG-21 tops out at like 1,300 miles an hour. The F-4 Phantom is is like twice the size of the MiG-21. It's got a way bigger fuel tank, it's got way more range, it can carry a lot more payload. The MiG-21, on the other hand, it's a lot smaller, it's a lot lighter, it's nimbler, but it doesn't have as much range. So, the MiG-21 in an up-close dogfight is probably going to be better with its gun, whereas the F-4 Phantom, not really intended for up-close dogfighting, it doesn't even have a gun. Because it has a more advanced radar and missiles that can take the enemy out from 29 miles away, it doesn't even need to see the enemy to shoot them out of the sky, so why on earth would it need a gun? Okay, the F-4 Phantom's MO is to haul ass, shoot half-court shots, and have a dope-ass paint job the entire time it does it. So, just so we're on the same page, Soviet MiG-21, American F-4 very much peers to one another. They are both capable of taking the other out. They both pose a huge threat to one another. However, theoretically speaking, the MiG-21 should have an advantage in an up-close dogfight due to its maneuverability and its gun, whereas the F-4 has the advantage because it can just shoot down the MiG-21 before it even gets close enough for a dogfight to occur. So, MiG-21, better up close. F-4, better far away. So that's it. That's the solution, right? The F-4 Phantoms are going to go up. They're going to shoot the MiGs down from like 20 miles away before the MiGs even know they're there, and that's going to be the end of it. Ta-da! Luckily for the North Vietnamese, the American politicians step in yet again with another exciting rule of engagement. Guess what? You're not allowed to shoot at enemy aircrafts until you have visual confirmation that it is an enemy aircraft. Translation, the American F-4 pilots literally are not allowed to start fighting the MiG-21s until the MiG-21s have the advantage. Which is absolutely insane to think about. Like, literally the equivalent of walking up to an infantryman and being like, hey, here's a sniper rifle. Also, you're not allowed to shoot people with it. You're only allowed to use a bayonet. And there's no bayonet because we didn't design it with a bayonet look because it's only designed to shoot people from really far away. Get back. And just in case that wasn't bad enough, what makes this even worse is the fact that most of the F-4 pilots are only trained on the American F-4, which wasn't really designed for up-close dogfighting with a gun because it doesn't have a gun. So, most of them don't really know how to conduct an up-close dogfight because they've never been trained to do it, because that's not what their plane is supposed to fucking do. So there's really no good answer. This goes on for a little while where basically the F-105s go up, the MiG-21s go up, intercept, the F-105s are then forced to drop all their guns in the middle of nowhere and take off just so they can survive. The MiG-21s then go and land, and that just repeats itself ad nauseum. But then in September of 1966, something happened that would change everything, because the 8th Fighter Wing out of Udon Kai Royal Air Force Base would get a new commander, and that commander was none other than the legendary fighter pilot, Colonel Robin Olds. And I mean, you can know nothing about this guy, and you already know he's the main character. I mean, look at the lip sweater on this man. It's the most magnificent taco flosser I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, let me break this down for you. Anytime you've ever seen a movie with a cool bad boy character that doesn't follow the rules, it's also a fighter pilot, it's based off of this guy, whether you know it or not. Okay, I want you to understand the gravity of the situation here. This man's mother passed away when he was 4 years old, and he was raised by a single father that was also a full-time Army pilot and a World War I veteran. This guy was essentially bred to be a fighter pilot. He went to West Point where he became an All-American football player at 6'2", 250 pounds. He then went on to become a fighter pilot in World War II. Now, if you shoot down 5 or more enemy planes, you become an ace pilot. It's kind of a really big deal. Robin Olds was a double ace in World War II. This man literally prestiged in the most extreme air-to-air combat the world has ever seen. And he's left with a triple ace in Vietnam. And at the age of 44, nonetheless. How's the old saying go? You wear an old man in a young man's game? Yeah, this is the main character for sure. As I mentioned, the main characters, Robin is on a very high-ranking people that don't know why he's much mostly because he's not afraid to ruffle a couple of feathers to get his point across. And most recently, the argument that he's been having with the establishment is the fact that the F-4 Phantom, the main fighter jet for the United States military, should probably have a gun on it. He also has an issue with all these new pilots being trained because they're not really being trained how to actually dogfight. They're just being trained how to haul ass, intercept the plane, and shoot a missile at it, as opposed to actually getting into a close quarters fight. And the chain of command is basically telling Robin Olds, like, hey, look, you're old. They don't do it like that anymore. You were fighting in World War II with P-51 Mustangs and P-38 Lightnings. This is not what's going on anymore. These kids are flying F-4 Phantoms that can fly at 1,400 miles an hour and shoot missiles and take out targets from 30 miles away. We don't need to teach them up-close dogfighting anymore because they're never actually going to use it because the technology eliminates the need for that. But you know what technology doesn't fix? Politicians being fucking stupid. So now, everybody has to fight like it's World War II in a dogfight because they're not allowed to use the technology the way they're supposed to because politicians that don't understand what they're talking about need to make up other rules. So, now we're sending Robin Olds to go take over command of the 8th Fighter Wing. He shows up and immediately earns everybody's respect. Keyword, earns it. Doesn't just get it given to him. And the way that he earns it is one of the best examples of leadership that I have ever known. This man shows up to take command of an entire fighter wing as a double ace World War II pilot and a legend. And he decides to immediately put himself on the flight roster as a rookie to get trained on how to better use the F-4 Phantom because he's not very well acquainted with it. And he lets all the men that are lower than him train him on this plane. He didn't come in all cocky. He wasn't some arrogant prick. He just admitted, hey, I've been doing this for a long time. I've flown a lot of planes. I'm not super great with the F-4 Phantom. I need to get great with it so I can lead you guys. And that's exactly what he did. And it immediately earned him all the respect in the world. So Robin takes some time to get acquainted with the F-4 Phantom. And within a couple of weeks, he's already flying a plane better than most of the trainers. So now that Robin is caught up on the F-4 Phantom where all of his guys are, he is now going to teach these young whippersnappers how to dogfight like a World War II. And this is like the cool moment from all the movies where old schools teach a new school how to get shit done anyways. Okay, this is Rocky teaching Adonis Creed how to box. This is Doc teaching Lightning McQueen that sometimes you gotta turn right to go left. And while all of this is happening, Robin Williams, in another great display of leadership, realizes that there's not enough of him to go around and he needs backup. He needs another badass World War II era pilot to come over and help him get these guys ready. So Old calls in a couple of favors, gets one of his longtime friends transferred over to the 8th Fighter Wing to help him run the show, and that friend is none other than the legendary pilot Daniel Chappie James Jr., a.k.a.
How do you get rid of that turret?
In the late 1930s, early 1940s, this
Can't have them
was a
shooting at me.
civilian pilot at the Tuskegee Institute that was contracted by the U.S. government to train U.S. pilots how to fly. Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you this is the man that trained the famous Tuskegee Airmen from World War II before eventually enlisting in the
Oh,
After
shit.
enlisting, he became an officer, at which point he was deemed 2000.
Sorry.
He did for the duration of World War II, continued to train an entire generation of fighter pilots, and never actually saw combat himself. Then, in Korea, he would fly over 100 combat missions before working at the Pentagon, where he was
Aha, I got your shell ring, you stupid bitch.
he goes on to become the first black man
Sorry.
general of the United States military. This man is also a complete badass, so Uncle Sam is essentially playing Operation Polo on co-op
Language.
characters on the field. So Chappie shows
Oh.
united with his old friend Robin Olds, they become this extremely effective chain of command, and they are absolutely loved by
I
all
love
of their
fighting
subordinates.
destroyers.
Because of that, this leadership duo is given a
Although,
nickname
where the
for
hell did my
given
missile
as
just
a
go?
term of endearment,
Just went
although
straight to
by
Mars
today's
and never came back.
probably not very politically
Just like
correct.
my dad.
That nickname was
Sorry,
Black
sorry.
Now, all this happens in the span of 3 months. So, December 1966.
I can get rid of that light cruiser way over there if I wanted to, really.
How to stop his new badass MiG-21s.
I'll give it a shot.
Completely caught on to the MiG-21's entire strategy. They have zero interest in actually fighting.
Another assist.
Which is driving Robin
Might even get the ammo on it. It's got like 400
That's
horsepower.
exactly the type of shit that he's into. These MiG-21 pilots, however, just want to go
No
out
shot,
there
I
and
actually
use
did.
guerrilla warfare
Alright, see ya.
either hit the F-105s or don't hit the F-105s, and this convinces them to drop their payload prematurely and waste everybody's time and then take back off. The MiG-21s have
I'm getting touched.
which Rob will interpret as, I need to force these MiG-21s to fight. So how's he going to do that? Well, here's his plan. The reason the MiG-21s can identify the F-105s so efficiently is because the F-105s have a jamming product that basically disrupts and interferes with the surface-to-air missiles down below. It messes up their radar so that the F-105s aren't going to get taken out by all the anti-aircraft stuff on the ground. The problem with that is that it is a frequency that the enemies can see. They then know that a bunch of F-105s are coming, so they scramble the mix. So Robin Olds decides, hey, let's take those jamming pods, mount them to mine and all the guys.
This is gonna be unfair to literally everybody.
Like we're F-105s in a bombing formation.
363 to what?
And by the time they get close enough to realize that we're
541.
F-105s, ideally it's going to
Graph
be
spec,
well.
probably. Okay, fine. I'll use graph spec for once.
Requested permission to execute the old Wile E. Coyote
Port West
costume
Fallen.
to catch the Roadrunner strategy. Now, probably going to work, but there are a bunch of problems with this idea. Biggest problem right out of the gate is this doesn't solve the issue with rules of engagement because remember, you're not allowed to fire an
Alright,
enemy
it's
until
revenge
you visual
time.
confirmation
Biatch.
and by then, the MiG-21s have an
Shut up! I didn't even know you were still here. Sorry.
Step number one, he knows that they only have 12 to 16 MiG-21s, so he's just going to roll in with 28 F-4s, okay? Just completely overwhelm them, even if they do have an edge in it.
You mother...
Step number two, which is quite frankly...
Language. Okay.
The entire U.S. military military to shut down all air operations over Southeast Asia while he conducts this operation. He wants the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marine Corps, none of them to have any birds in the sky whatsoever. And his reason for that is so that they bypass the rules of engagement. You see, the only reason the politicians are enforcing that rule of engagement where you have to have visual confirmation before you fire on an enemy plane is because there's a ton of planes in the air over Southeast Asia at all times, and Vietnam is already super controversial over in America, and the last thing the politicians want to have to deal with is headlines that an American plane shot down another American plane. So they just made the rule you're not allowed to shoot at anything unless you can visually see 100% certainty that it is in fact happening. So if Robin can make sure that the only planes in the sky are his guys and the enemy, he should be able to go bombs away the entire time and not have to worry about it. So obviously this is a massive request, and the chain of command says yes.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, so now the last thing we have to figure out, how do we make sure that these MiG-21s don't slip through? Because they're so nimble, they're so fast,
Ouch.
they can pull a tight maneuver and be back at base before we're going to be able to catch them. So, how are we going to prevent that? As soon as the MiG-21s take off and get in the air, they're going to send half of the airforce to haul bombs past the entire cruise battlefield, and they're just going to do hot laps around the enemy airfield, making it so the enemy can't go to land without fighting through those F-4s first, which effectively is going to give the pilots of the MiG-21s two options. They can stand and fight the F-4s, retreat and fight the other F-4s, or they can retreat, have nowhere to land, and eventually run out of gas. And remember, the F-4s have a much larger gas tank, so they are definitely going to run out of gas first. So it's a perfect plan. There's just one small problem left. How are we going to know when the MiG-21s take off and leave the airfield? Because if we send the F-4s out too soon, then the MiG-21s won't take off at all, and then we can't bomb them on the ground, and it defeats the entire purpose of the mission. Easy problem to solve. We're going to get two spy planes, the C-130B2, aka the Silver Dawn. At this point in time, it is a state-of-the-art electronic warfare spy plane, and it's going to be able to receive all the enemy radio transmissions, so they're going to be able to tell as soon as the enemy MiG-21s take off. And obviously, given the fact that that was such an easy problem to solve, bureaucracy is obviously going to step in and make it extremely difficult, because the U.S. military only has like 20 of these Silver Dawn spy planes, and while they are technically the property of the United States Air Force, they are directly under the command of the NSA, the National Security Agency, and they are super duper stingy about whoever gets to use these planes. Basically, the NSA
I feel like I can just like quickly bonk that man before I can get the Dakota.
That means that they're going to have to go through some stupid bureaucratic process where they ask for permission, it gets run up the chain of command like 30 people deep, and then finally some bureaucrat has to take responsibility. They're not going to do that because they don't want to put their ass on the line. So
Oh, I forgot they're all on one thing. I'm sorry, guys. Oh wait, I forgot we get my bombs back. I forgot. This is fun. Oh, I saved the Dakota. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for this itty bitty boys to spawn. This is a nice looking plane. I like this. I'll have to get this. What is that? It's a 7 mode, but it's awesome. So that they go ahead and send up their two Silver Dawns doing hot laps around the Gulf of Tonkin that they have going around every Oh, it's
single
got a
day.
model
So
cockpit
those
too.
two planes are
This is so cool.
participating on this mission, whether the NSA knows it or not. And then as soon as the mission kicks off, they're going to radio over to them and just have them tell them whether or
I'm gonna
not
bonk
the
that light cruiser.
MiG-21s took off. It's both genius and hilarious because now, even if the NSA does find out after the fact and get all pissed off, all the Air Force chain of command has to do is be like, oh, you guys didn't get that memo? We sent it. At which point they're basically going to be forced to just drop the issue because none of them are going to want to take responsibility for not passing.
We are not already shooting at me, are we?
So that's it. This mission gets approved. Operation Bolo is going to happen. So they hurry up. They get all the jamming pods on the F-105s.
Oh hell no!
While that's going on, they schedule it with the entire U.S. military, all 4 branches, and nobody else.
Oh shit!
January 2nd, 1967.
Alright, ditto's mine.
Except for the NSA, of course. Somebody forgot to tell them. So
Hiya, Japanese gunfire!
Ow.
Ow.
The F-4s are on the airstrip with the jamming pods mounted and ready to go. And it's fucking cloudy and overcast out, which is not good for this entire mission. But also, fuck it. There's nothing they can do. They have to run this mission right now. They shut down the skies over all of Southeast Asia to get this shit done. It has to happen right now or it's never going to happen. But I mean, hey, it should all work out. I mean, even inside of the art of war, Sun Tzu once said, and I quote, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather. Wait a minute. How weird to Miss Jackson inside of my Sun Tzu book? I guess I was Andre 3000. I apologize. a trillion times. Anyways, point stands. The mission goes. So the F-4s get put up in the air, and there's 7 flights of F-4s. Each flight is 4 F-4s for a total of 28, and they're all named after cars. Flight 1 is named Olds, being led by Robin Olds. Flight 2 is Ford, led by Chappie, and Flight 3 is Rambler, being led by Captain John Stone. And everything they do follows exactly what the F-105s would normally do. They're taking the same route at the same elevation, using the same radio frequencies. They're even using bomber call signs in case somehow their radio transmissions get intercepted, and they're emitting the same jamming frequencies as well, using those pods. So sure enough, the MiGs show up, and wouldn't you know it, the first guy to see one is none other than Robin Olds. He immediately splits his flight into 2 groups of 2, and Olds and his wingman take off after this MiG. Olds fires 2 radar-guided missiles, and they both end up losing their lock, and he misses entirely. He then closes the distance more so he can fire a heat-seeking missile, and it's a dud. And then the MiG that he's chasing goes into the clouds, and he loses them entirely, and as soon as he loses sight of that MiG, another MiG is screaming past him, going the opposite direction, so close that Olds can't just make a normal turn. Without batting an eye, Olds immediately hits a vector roll, which is a technique right out of the World War II dogfighting handbook. It's essentially you nose up and you do a backflip corkscrew maneuver and end up behind your enemy. And as he's mid-vector roll, upside down, pulling G's, he gets a radio transmission from Captain Johnson of Rambler Group saying, "Hey, I just got into the battlefield. Where are you? I heard that you're engaging an enemy." Olds finishes the vector roll, gets behind this MiG, radios back to Stone, finds your own, and then fires a missile and blows up the first MiG-21. At this point, the rest of the MiGs kind of figure out that the Americans have tricked them, and they are now basically locked inside of the Thunderdome, and they're going to have to fight their way out to have any chance at all, and the entire thing devolves into one enormous dogfight. And remember, the other 4 flights aren't there yet, they're lagging behind a couple of minutes.
Alright, what do you guys want to do?
Have the original 3 flights of Olds, Ford, and Rambler for a total of 12 F-4s going toe-to-toe with an unknown number of MiGs, potentially as many as 16. Now, cutting over to Ford flight, Chappie has a MiG on his tail, and he has no idea because his radio is malfunctioning, and he can't hear his wingman telling him, "Hey, you have an enemy on your tail." So, his wingman does the only thing he can think of. He handles it by himself. Bear in mind, it is Chappie, the MiG, and his teammate. So, his teammate can't fire any missiles because he can't risk that missile accidentally locking on Chappie. So, he has to perform another vector roll. He noses up, does a corkscrew, backflips, and that puts him at 90 degrees from where he was previously. So now, he's coming this way towards the enemy, and he fires heat-seeking missiles and blows up the MiG-21 behind Chappie without Chappie even knowing that it happened. Chappie then immediately engages 2 MiGs that are directly in front of him, and while that's going on, cutting back over to Olds, his wingman informs him that, hey, his secondary fuel tank isn't feeding fuel for some reason, so he's already low on fuel. They're 5 minutes into this dogfight, and Robin Olds makes the call that he is going to escort his wingman out of the target area and back to the airfield, which is yet again another phenomenal display of leadership. He could have ordered somebody else to do it so he could have stayed in the fight and soaked up more kills and padded his stats, but no, he did it himself. For the next 8 minutes, the remaining 10 F-4s engage every MiG-21 they can find until they have either been blown up or have disappeared and are hiding in the clouds. So at this point, the F-4s call it a day. They head back to base. The other 4 flights of F-4s didn't even make it to the target zone in time, so only 12 of the 28 F-4s in the air actually engage the enemy. As the F-4s start showing up and they start landing, the ground crews are there waiting with anticipation to find out how it went. I mean, this is one of the coolest missions ever done, probably the coolest thing a lot of these guys were ever going to be involved with. So they're super pumped to hear how it went. As the F-4 canopies open up, the pilots start holding up fingers of 1s and 2s, telling everybody how many MiGs they shot down, and the entire place turns into an enormous party. They're celebrating. All these guys are just absolutely pumped that they shot down a bunch of MiG-21s. So they debrief, trying to figure out everything that happened in this 13 minutes of absolute chaos, and first and foremost, the best news, not a single American pilot got shot down. Then they figure out that they for sure shot down 7 MiG-21s with an additional 2 probable for a total of as many as 9, and bear in mind that the North Vietnamese only had somewhere between 12 and 16 to begin with. So at worst, Operation Bolo has effectively destroyed at least half of North Vietnam's MiG-21 fleet. Okay, and there's always going to be that one guy in the comments section like, "Buh, I can't believe you made an entire video about them only shooting down 7 aircrafts. Buh." Okay, first of all, this isn't a video game, this is real life, and going 7-0 against peer aircrafts is absolutely incredible. Secondly, in a way, Operation Bolo didn't just destroy half of the enemy MiG-21 fleet, it also destroyed their entire fleet's operational capability, And that is because now they can't make a mistake like that again because they've lost half of their fucking planes. If they do that, they won't have any. In addition to that, now they have no way of knowing if it's actually a bunch of F-105s that are getting sent up to fight or if it's another trap. So now the remaining MiG-21s are going to be infinitely more cautious and more sparingly used, which is going to save countless F-105s in the long run. So in conclusion, Operation Bolo has gone down in history as one of the most successful ruses of all time, and it serves as a shining example of why you should never underestimate a couple of old men in a young man's game. In addition to that, it also proved something that I previously thought to be impossible, that you can in fact overcome the stupidity of politicians. The bad news is that you have to be a superhero level badass like Robin Olds or Daniel Chappie James Jr. Thank you for watching. The best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out. You look pretty. Oh, that's one.
Where are you? The response was, go find your own. I thought that was pretty selfish of him at the time, but there's plenty left.
Deliberately planned fighter sweep went just as we'd hoped. The MiGs came up. The MiGs were aggressive. We tangled. They lost.
We're doing shake for shake. Courthouse.
Okay.
He first made his debut in the country.
Ask.
Some restaurants are so some.
Hold on, guys.